Today I'm gonna make a chili with some cornbread. I'm gonna use this 2 boxes. I'm gonna follow the instructions. I'm gonna do this first, and then I'm gonna start working on the Instant Pot. These are some of my ingredients, but I'll show you more once I'm ready. So for right now, I'm gonna use those 2 packages. So I'm gonna double everything. I'm gonna use 2 eggs. I'm gonna use 2/3 cups of milk, and I'm gonna preheat the oven 400 degrees Fahrenheit while I mix all of this. Okay, so I added the cornbread mixture, or the mix, and I've added 2 eggs, and now I'm gonna add 2/3 cups of milk. Oh, when I added the mix, before I added the eggs, I kind of like hit it like a little bit like this, just so that all the little balls will start dissolving, I guess, or just so that it's not as so that it will help me once I add everything. So now I'm gonna add little by little. I'm gonna mix all this, and little by little I'm gonna add the milk, and then I'll show you how it looks once I'm done. This is more or less how it's gonna look. It is, the mixture will be lumpy, a little bit lumpy. It's not gonna be completely lump free, but this is good enough. And per the box, it says to let it rest for 3 to 4 minutes. So I'm gonna do that. So while I'm letting it rest, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use this dish, glass dish or glass pan, to cook the cornbread, and I'm gonna grease it or spray some of this so that it doesn't stick. I'll do that real quick. So I already sprayed the pan. It's with a butter flavored that I sprayed it on, so that way once I take it out, once it's cooked, it doesn't stick to the glass. And I let the mixture, this one, rest. So now I'm gonna pour it in here, and once it's pouring, I'll come back. Okay, so I have poured the mixture into the glass pan, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some green chiles, diced green chiles, and but I'm only gonna add it to 1/2, or a little bit more than a half, because my kids don't like the chile, but the grown-ups do. So I'm gonna do that before I put it in the oven. Okay, I put some of that green chiles on the mixture, and I kind of swirled it around with a butter knife. And so now I'm gonna put it in the oven for I'm gonna put it for 20 minutes, but I'm gonna put a 15-minute timer as well. And at that mark, I'm gonna start checking it to see if it has brown. If it's golden brown, then I can take it off. While this is going in the oven, I'm gonna start with the chili on the Instant Pot. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I put my Instant Pot on saute, and I'm gonna add 2 ground beef rolls. Each one is about 1 pound, so it's gonna be 2 pounds of meat. I'm gonna cut this open, and I'm gonna dump it in there, and I'm gonna brown it. I'm not gonna add any vegetables or spices yet. Because I like to drain it, because this kind is 73% lean and 27% fat, so it does render a lot of fat. So first I want to brown it, and then I'm gonna drain it, and then I'm gonna show you that in a minute. Okay, so like I told you, I have the Instant Pot on saute. I have added the ground beef meat in, and I'm gonna brown it. That's all I'm gonna do right now. And once it's brown, I mean, I'm not gonna brown it all the way, but like, see how it's letting out a lot of oil? I'm gonna drain it once it starts getting a little bit brown, a little bit like a light brown. I'll show you that once I get to that point. So I've been browning this ground beef for about 5 to 8 minutes. It's not fully cooked, but it has rendered a lot of liquid. I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn off the Instant Pot. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit, because when I drain it, I'm gonna take this off, and it's a little bit warm, and I'm gonna use gloves to handle it. And the way that I'm gonna drain it is, let me show you. I have here a dish, a big dip dish, and I'm gonna put this strainer here. I'm gonna pour the meat here, take out all the oil and water, and then dump the meat back in there, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is how much liquid I was able to drain. This is like water and and lard. Okay, so I put the meat back in there and I put it back on saute. And while I was browning the meat, I cut up or diced up some tomato and onions, and I'm gonna add that now. I'll show you. I'm gonna start adding some spices, not a lot, just a little bit, just to give it flavor. There's some salt. This could be done whatever, however you like it, to your own taste. I just gotta start mixing it, or else it's gonna start sticking. So I put some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder, and some cumin. Don't put a lot of cumin because that thing is potent. Once you add too much, you're stuck with that strong flavor. Just a little bit. And I'm gonna mix it around. I'm gonna let it cook a little bit before I start adding my cans. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say cans. It's basically gonna be beans and the tomato sauce. So these are the cans that I'm gonna use: black beans, pinto beans, and red kidney beans. Usually I use 2 pinto bean cans, but my daughter couldn't find the smaller. I sent her to get this for me, and she couldn't find like the smaller version with the red kidney beans, so I'm just gonna leave it like this instead. And then I'm gonna rinse them. Even though they say some of them are reduced sodium, I still rinse them. And then I'm gonna add them, and I'm gonna add the tomato sauce last. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I rinse the black beans first, and the way I do it, I just run water through it until the liquid starts coming out clear instead of black. So I'm gonna add that, and now I'm gonna add the pinto beans and the kidney beans. Now here's the pinto beans, and we're gonna do the red kidney beans next. And I just added the red kidney beans. So next I'm gonna add in the tomato sauce. And I'm gonna add like water. I'm gonna fill this up with water once or twice and add it in so that we have more liquid. I'll come back once I do that. Okay, so I ended up doing about 3 cans of water, and then I mixed it up just to see how much liquid I have added. I like it like this. I don't like it neither too much liquid nor too little liquid, just enough. And I'm gonna add all the spices again. I'm gonna add a little bit more onion powder, salt. Actually, I'm not gonna add salt again. Onion powder, black pepper, garlic, ground cumin, and a little bit of the bouillon tomato bouillon. I'm gonna do about a little bit under a tablespoon. Gotta be careful with this one because it's really potent, it's really salty. And so that's why I'm not gonna add more salt. And once I add that, I'm gonna stir it and start the pressure cooking. Okay, so I added all my spices and I'm just gonna stir it. I put a little bit of cumin, not too much. So I'm gonna stir it so that all that spices are incorporated, and then I'm gonna come back once I'm ready to pressure cook. Okay, so now it's time to pressure cook. I turn it off because remember I had it on saute. I put the lid on already because it's kind of hard to do it with one hand when I'm videotaping. Remember, back here you have the venting side. This plastic moves, right? The venting side and the sealing side. So you're gonna put it to sealing. Then you're gonna close it, and it's gonna this way, and it's gonna make a noise. You're gonna go to pressure cook. Make sure it's on high pressure. And remember, everything's cooked, so all you have to do, we're not gonna do it that long. We just want everything, all the spices to incorporate into the meat. So we're only gonna do actually 5 minutes. So we'll have it 5 minutes high pressure on the pressure cook. And now it's closed, so you can start it. Remember, it's gonna be more than 5 minutes because it's gonna need some time to build up the pressure. And so that's what it's doing right now. It's probably gonna be 10 minutes just for the pressure to build up, and then the countdown begins. I'll come back once the counter is over. Okay, while the Instant Pot is building up pressure, it still says on. It hasn't started the 5-minute countdown because it's still building pressure. I took out the cornbread. It is ready. It's golden brown, and I'm gonna let it cool off while the other one cooks. It's probably gonna be about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, even though we put a timer for 5 minutes because it just takes a while to build up. I'll come back when it's ready. Okay, so the countdown has finished, and we're now in minute 3 of, since it stopped. It just keeps going if you don't release the pressure, so it's like releasing the pressure slowly. So now we're gonna release the pressure. So I'm gonna release the pressure. I'm gonna move it over here. Let me try again. I'm gonna do it off camera. So I've released the pressure, and it's gonna take about 3 to 4 minutes for it to finish, so just let it finish until it stops making that noise. Right now I can smell the chili smells pretty good. So you gotta wait until it stops venting. Okay, so I finally finished venting. It took about 4 minutes. And so now I'm gonna open it. It's closed this way, so I'm gonna open it going this way. And now it's open. I'll tell you it's open. It says here lid. And we're gonna look how it looks right now. And this is how the chili is looking. Okay, I'm gonna plate it, and then I'll show you how it looks. And here's the chili all plated. I added some shredded cheese, some sour cream, some avocado, and then here's my little piece of cornbread. I tasted this off screen and it tasted good. Let me know how it tastes if you try it out.